power outages are good. Question mark? And now I got to restream.io. And I put in our email address, which is sonsoftreearmain@gmail.com. And then I put in the password, which is beep. Ah, close. Close. Almost. Glad you guys censored that.
I got that censor button on lock.
Power outages are good. Turn out the lights. Trying to come in here. And there's John Sinclair. By the way, we are live, Gangstacleese and John Sinclair and Cenk Engels and me, Dan Cohen.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I got a question. Did they make Juneteenth a holiday?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
What the fuck does that mean?
I mean, I don't know. It just
Does that mean I get my Soros check?
I wish.
Oh, god damn it. Do I get
Yeah.
he's been
anything?
late.
Do
No,
I
I
get
don't
the
think we're
day
getting
off?
anything
Like-
this. I keep researching that, and I can't tell if it's like a bank holiday or not. And we won't even know for like 2 years because Juneteenth doesn't fall on a weekday until like 2024 or something. So yeah, that's cool. We get to just
They should just
live with
start fucking
that.
paying us.
Well, it's
Yeah,
symbolic.
wouldn't that be nice?
I mean, again,
Everything is fucking symbolic with these people. These fucking
yeah,
clowns.
that's right. Because again, if we were to do reparations, you would have a societal shift. The goal isn't to have a societal shift. The goal is to freeze the
They
system.
cash more checks with their lips than fucking. I don't have a metaphor, but I had something and I lost it. But it was there, and you get where I was going with it.
Yeah, they write more checks with their lips than they're asking cash. Than I don't know, Tori Spelling saying that she's an actress and can make a good movie.
Yeah. There you go.
That's an old reference. I'm an old man.
Alrighty.
But, by the way, this is Sons of Trier live stream and podcast. I'm Dan. We got John.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
We got Cenk.
Self-hating capitalist back for another round.
Yep, and it is Juneteenth, so of course we have Gangstacleese
Yeah, you don't forget to eat the rich.
and Eat the Rich.
No, I'm saying don't forget to eat the riches.
Yeah.
I'm still Gangstacleese. I'm just saying. It should be part of the instructions here. It should be a regular thing that I say.
I was going fast. I got confused. It's new. You keep changing it on me, then you're like, you know what? It's a little bit racist, Dan, that you're not reading a black person's mind.
You need some more.
Literally couldn't have been put better.
Yeah.
You need some more symbols, guy.
Yeah.
Performative spectacle. Do it.
Performative spectacle. Gonna put some band-aids on my motherfucking nipples and go to Latin America to sing songs about how I'm great. And then I'm gonna say racist shit about foreigners. I'm from the UK. I'm Morrissey.
Look at me go managing consent.
I'm Morrissey, and I'm gay. Hey. Thank you. I don't really sing on the podcast too much, but you caught me.
Never.
Which is odd considering how much you do actually sing in real life.
Yeah, I sing a lot in real life. I'm a very musical person. Oh, the boss gets the surplus value, and the worker gets all that remains. So working men of all countries unite. You've got nothing to lose but your chains. That might be the show's theme song now. I stole that bit from a British comic. Proud to have done it. I watched that back in the late 90s. Great.
Oh, so we're stealing from perverts now.
Yes, people who are afflicted with the British illness.
Hey, they're perverts. It's not stealing. It's just it's rebranding.
Yeah. You can't. whether or not that one song was good does not change the fact that clearly that comedian, no matter how well adjusted he might otherwise be, has the British illness. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what those. I do not know what you are saying.
You, you,
I'm gonna stop while I'm ahead.
you don't know what the
I
British
do not
illness
know what
is?
you are saying.
You don't know what
No,
the British illness is?
no, I don't want to get into it again.
Oh. Well, it's important, I think, to distinguish what the British illness is for the listener.
Is it? Is it
Who's going to say it?
tooth related?
Is it
It
tooth
begins with a
related?
P.
It's the British deformity is the tooth thing.
Is it colonizing?
No, that's the British pastime.
Oh, is it?
That's not the British illness or
Is it
British
having? Is it
affliction.
having fucked up teeth?
No, again, that's the British deformity.
It
Oh.
begins with a P.
I'm going with the teeth again.
I can't go back to it. You got to stop saying teeth because that's not the right answer. John, do
Is
you
it having
know?
those weird ass fucking buses?
Yeah, I know. I'd like to solve the puzzle.
Yeah.
Painting.
No.
Yeah,
Oh, wait.
yeah.
We got no.
It's something that Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, William Barr, and let's face it, Joe Biden all have in common with Prince Andrew.
Unjustified wealth.
Well, that's what we call the British prize.
Right?
I'm getting closer. It's a P.
Yeah.
It's a
You guys are. I'm kind of disappointed. Is nobody gonna say it?
Attacking the media?
No, they love the media. The media loves royals. Why would they attack the media? Come on, now you're just waddling off into Ben Shapiro territory. Although Ben
Oh.
Shapiro has the opposite. He's an ace
Ooh.
in the
Ooh.
hole.
I heard he turned into a train.
A distaste for trains.
No, they love trains, especially running trains. If you get my drift.
Choo choo.
That's where Ben Shapiro's back, by the way. That's why he's on that team. He's woefully misinformed about what the trains are over in England.
Okay. All right. I got it.
Yeah.
They love praying.
No. Nobody likes praying.
Papa
No, I'm
don't
just
like
saying.
praying.
It begins with a P, doesn't it?
Yeah, it begins
Only
with a P.
only menace is like praying.
It's about British people running trains. It involves children.
Pizzagate?
Oh, why was Pizzagate a thing? You're so close, buddy.
Is it
Chimney
'Cause it's-
sweeps.
Nope. Although
the
although
evil
they do
Jew
like a
queer
good chimney
media.
sweep. They do enjoy a good chimney sweep if you're catching my drift.
I'd like to solve the puzzle, Alex.
What is it?
Is it perversion?
No, it's not perversion.
Pedophilia.
Yeah, there's my
Oh,
boy.
Man, we knew that
Yeah,
from like the first
I
time.
just
you
want to
brought
be
up the-
clear. I just want to be clear. Dan says that pedophilia is not perversion.
That's the hot take of the day.
It's not the British perversion. What? It's the bad kind of perversion. Like what? If you're gonna try to trap me, all I was trying to do was to get you guys to think a little bit outside the box.
We were way
And,
outside the box.
Yeah, you guys are way too far outside the box. You were trying to, we're trying to think about all these people who have the British affliction. You could also call it the British temperament or disposition. Like if they were a breed of dog, this is what their breed of dog would do.
Would be famous for.
Yeah.
Chihuahuas famously irritating and yappy dogs.
Yeah.
British, famously pedophilic.
So,
Although, interestingly enough, English bulldogs, great family dogs.
yeah, they are, but they don't have the British affliction.
They do not.
No.
No, they don't. They certainly don't have that.
Yeah.
This is a pro dog podcast.
Excuse me. Well, you had me at running trains. When I realized what kind of trains you were running, I was very disappointed. I would like to talk to your manager. I was promised a choo-choo set, and I did not get a choo-choo set. I
In
got
fact,
two
this is a
Asian
far from
children
a choo-choo set.
with the last name Chu, which was not at all what I agreed to in my contract. So I need to talk to your manager immediately. I'm the bloody Queen of England, mate. Yes, and I'm not sure what an England is. All I know is I was promised choo-choos, not Asian women named Chu. So I need to talk to the
Asian
manager.
children. Asian children named too.
Well, since Ben Shapiro's that height, he has trouble. See, Ben's problem is different. He actually has trouble discerning who's a child and who it isn't, not because he's a pedo, but because he's like 4'2".
Well, I mean, it's very difficult whenever you're 3'10".
Yeah,
That's fair.
clocking in at a tight 2.8. Fun fact about Ben. Yeah, fun fact about Ben Shapiro. He has to carry his penis in a wagon because he's so tiny. His dick and his body height are the exact same. He's only 4 inches, which is perfectly average if you're only 4 inches tall.
If you're Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, that's why he looks like uncomfortable whenever he's on air, is because
On a full
sitting
sweep of Ben Shapiro's, he had the most average penis of all Ben Shapiro's.
That's true, he did.
Yeah, and don't let him get erect, because then all the blood will flow to it and he'll pass out and die.
Yes, that's the problem. That's why Ben likes his trains. For him, though, the trains aren't toys; they're actual ways to transport him around the house.
No wonder they're so efficient.
Yeah, that's why he's obsessed with Mussolini, is because he made those trains run on time, and he can't do
Thank
it.
God.
Yeah, he can't do it himself. He cannot make those trains run on time.
Well, I mean, it's difficult when tracks are, those toy train tracks are so significantly larger than you.
Yeah. Plus, he's living out in California.
He can't find enough Asian workers to rebuild the lines through the mountains.
Excuse me, I was trying to work you to death, and you just don't fit in the burial mounds. So could you please crawl into the burial mounds I have set up?
Well, as long as we're on the topic of Shapiro,
yeah.
Did you guys see the quote tweet he did? The epic own of all the NYC mayoral candidates?
No, that sounds worthless.
Yeah, I mean, basically,
how does Ben Shapiro own anybody besides like just
he
outright
can't. No,
buying
it was
the human market?
He didn't fucking.
He barely speaks English.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, the tweet was basically all the mayoral candidates in the last debate were asked, "What would you ban?" So I'll read through what they all said.
Okay.
Okay, this is already starting bad.
Yeah. So
right.
without going, there's like a billion candidates. I'll just mention the ones who I think are interesting, which is Wiley, who was the De Blasio aide, said she'd ban sugary drinks.
Of course.
So no,
That's
off the
bullshit.
table.
Fuck
that. The next one said they'd ban food deserts and neighborhoods with no parks. The next one said they'd ban bodegas without fresh fruit.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. While these answers are stupid, they seem reasonable for New York City, because that city is a city without a grocery store is about the dumbest damn thing I ever did here. But moving on.
Schools not having rooftop farms. Corn syrup.
What fucking bullshit? What are you gonna remove half the food from fucking New York?
Apparently.
School lunch junk food.
Okay, that's...
healthcare deserts. I don't even know how you do that, but and then of course, to cap it off, Andrew Yang said he'd ban ATVs.
Oh, thank God. Someone reasonable.
So
who's running around on ATVs in New York City?
One Bobby Schmurder.
I'm about to murder everybody you heard of.
That's why he was in jail for so long, was because they like put him on parole for a bunch of like homicide charges or something like that, and or that he was like adjacent to or whatever. And then he fucking shot a music video and did a wheelie on an ATV, and they filmed it. So they're like, no, you're violating like municipal code or some shit, and that's why he was in prison for like 6 years. But yeah, of course.
I'd put him in fucking prison for that too, I guess. Fuck it, why not?
Wow.
If we're being fucking unreasonable.
Are you like some elderly Jewish man who like hates noise? So
you got my ass, that's for sure.
You got my ass.
Oh no, you found me out.
Okay, and of course, quote tweeting quote tweeting this, Ben Shapiro said, "Nobody wants to ban crime."
What?
So fucking stupid.
Wait,
Of course he did.
he didn't say the thing that's already banned so hard they call it a crime. He didn't say nobody wants to. He did.
Yeah, it's an oxymoron. It doesn't work.
You know what the beauty of that is,
he-
of course, if anyone had said they were going to ban crime, he'd have fucking blasted them. He'd have been like, they're so fucking stupid. They don't even know that crime's already illegal.
He is. I don't know what to say to that. I don't know if I should call him the dumbest son of a bitch I've ever heard. Remember, I want you all to remember really long and hard. Like the New York Times, the paper of record, called him the cool kids philosopher. And if by cool kids you mean all the kids who eat paste and break light bulbs in the basement, yes. I mean, they're coming up with more like better takes than that. They're smarter. The weird thing is, oh my god, this is you're making my brain fucking bleed with this. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You're not going to ban the thing that's already been banned so hard it's considered against the law. He is an Ouroboros of fucking dumb, just shoved so far into his own ass, and he. Whoa.
Yeah. So
Oh,
I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask this of everybody here. If you became mayor of New York City, what would you ban?
Ben Shapiro.
Oh, fuck, he beat me to it. He's so fast.
Well, that's why you're deputy mayor.
Haru's mind is focused solely on this race.
Ben Shapiro.
Fucking hell.
I'm gonna make it an extrictable crime that if he talks about New York City.
I would give it some real thought, and I'd try and figure out how I could ban the Trump Towers sign. Like, I would get measurements, I'd figure it out, and I would put in a ban that ultimately required Trump Towers to take down the Trump sign.
Just keep making him make new signs because you keep making it a millimeter outside.
Yeah.
Okay. All of New York City, you're gonna bring jobs to the economy with your just insane sign requirements. All right, I'm down for this, dude. You want to run a train ticket?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm game.
All right, this is my man. I got him. He knows what's up. Well, I'm handling the Ben Shapiro problem that's plaguing New York City. He literally, like, I'm sure he got his IQ test and he was like, I was in the double digits. I'm a very smart boy. I'm a very good boy. I am very well.
I am so smart. I'm telling you, I am very, very smart.
I said I was very, very smart. What I did was I measured my hand and then I measured my shoe size and then I divided. But I measured my hand size.
I have an answer, but like, it's way
than
dumber.
Ben Shapiro?
No, I would. Here's you'll learn a fun fact here. I'd make all the yeshivas, as in the Hasidic schools. I'd make them teach all the boys math, because right now they don't teach boys math if you go to Hasidic school.
What?
They only teach girls math because the girls have to learn how to go to the grocery store. Boys don't need to learn math.
Wait, I'm confused.
What?
Yeah, I'm not joking.
They
That's
can't
like
just
a
do
real.
math innately like Asians.
No,
Oh.
no, they can't. They don't have. We can't
take a hard
ability to do
pass
math.
into like super racism right now. Okay, fine.
Yeah, we have to interbreed with Slavs or Chinese people to do that.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's how John and I are so talented.
Oh my
I'll
god,
take all
it's
the
like
Chinese
multi-classing.
All right,
Like, well,
what would you ban?
I would ban New York, you said?
Yeah, New York City.
I'm a ban tech billionaires. No, billionaires.
No billionaires.
No, millionaires and billionaires. No.
Just running them out of town.
Yeah. No, I'm just gonna close down I'm just gonna close down Wall Street. I'm gonna ban Wall Street.
Okay, so
And Main Street.
you're on brand.
yeah.
I mean, we were going for the
that feels
low-hanging-
like the most like successful answer for sure. That would be the best thing.
Yeah, I think we're definitely part of the low-hanging fruit party. That's the ticket we're running on. Low-hanging fruit. Getting Ben Shapiro out away. Actually, I would make sure. Okay, it's twofold. One, Ben's not allowed in the city, and he's threefold. He's not allowed to reference New York because he could be extradited to New York City for crimes against all New Yorkers. And number three, anybody whose IP address goes to Ben Shapiro's little website there, little TV show on the internet, your ass is done. That's Riker's time.
But their ass.
I could ban Fox
And it's
News.
going, now hold on. You're going because you're probably too stupid to live or you're a rapist. And that's going to be what the judge has to tell you in person. And the only way to get out of your time in jail there is to watch Dave Rubin clips to see a really articulate Jew.
Oh, I'm never getting out.
Yeah, we're never getting free.
That's your community service, is helping Dave be relevant. You have to pretend. You have to be like Dave. You have to type in the YouTube comments. Oh my God, Dave, that was really smart of you to call him balsamic vinaigrette.
Well,
No. You know what I do? I'd inflict one of the worst pogroms on the Hasidic community. I'm Jewish, by the way, saying this. So just to make sure,
Yeah.
are any of you familiar with the Cars for Kids ads?
Yes. From
Okay,
the
all
guys
of
who
that
make
money-
I do remember that.
All of that money went to Orthodox Jewish kids going to summer camp. I'm not
Yeah.
joking; it did.
Yeah.
So I would mandate that that all charitable donations to children's camps go toward at least some math education, just so that all the boys had to learn some math.
Yeah.
It would be terrible. That's when they warned you about pogroms on the Upper West Side, that's what they meant.
Yes.
Is that they teach like little Jewish boys math.
Oh my God, they're gonna make our boys learn math. Next, they're gonna be walking around stuffing their shirts with fake boobies. They're gonna be women, and then we'll have to make them dress their hair. You know, I found this out. Fun fact: Iran, okay, in Iran, it is entirely 100% illegal to be gay. But if you're trans,
Yeah.
if you're trans, right? You go
You're
to
not
Iran.
technically gay.
Well, you go to Iran, you say, hey, I got this problem. Even if you're like, you would be considered post-transition heterosexual, what you say is, I'm gay, because they make you transition. So you can get gender reassignment surgery on the government's dime.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work.
You don't think?
I don't think you're gonna enjoy it quite as much as you think.
Really
Quite
not
as
that
much as
much
you're
not gonna
making
go
this
as well as
sound.
you think.
Yeah, it's gonna go downhill. I assure you.
you think trusting the Iranian government with your
With
safety,
your healthcare
Hey,
and
with your
safety.
healthcare, you know what?
As a trans person, yeah, that feels like
no,
a bad plan.
No, but see, the trick is to get the surgery and then bail. You're just like,
I don't
Look,
I don't know if it's gonna work that way for you, bud. I'm just gonna be honest.
I think
We
the
do
real
not
problem-
recommend this tactic.
I think the real problem is going to be that you're just going to suddenly find yourself an Iranian husband if you catch my drift.
Or maybe,
Or
they
you're
just don't
just gonna
finish the
die.
surgery at the old shop, they already got a knife on you,
I think it's disrespectful that you're treating the People's Republic of Iran in this manner.
Is it? Is it really?
I mean, I don't know their
Yeah.
lives, but I'm just saying.
You know what? That's just American propaganda. I'm telling you right now. 100% terrible if you're gay. 100% awesome if you're trans and willing to lie to their government.
Again, we do not. We, as a podcast, we do not justify
It
this.
sounds
this
it
line
sounds
of thought.
foolproof.
It's listen, I'm just saying. With American healthcare the way it is, there's a government out there literally paying people to transition. So, don't
I will
don't-
say.
don't sit and whine about American healthcare and then
It's not like the American healthcare system is that much better.
yeah, don't sit and whine about the American healthcare system and then nuke a good idea when it's presented to you. All right?
Well, see, it all depends on you on the escape plan and
Yeah.
yeah.
Listen, I didn't
You
say
gotta
it
have
was
a
100%.
damn good escape plan.
Yeah, I just said, if you're looking to get that surgery on the cheap, Iran's the way to go. Yeah.
The old
Legally, these are
Again.
jokes.
Legally, these are
In
This
case,
is
Bad
not
jokes.
legal advice.
yeah,
This
that's
is
not.
definitely not
constitute
advice.
It's
legal
just
advice.
awesome advice. That's
It's
not
definitely not.
technically legal. Shut up, buddy. You keep it up. I'm going to tell the Iranian government. You keep it up. Suddenly, we'll have another woman on the podcast. You get my drift? Just watch yourself. I'm in good. I'm in good with the Ayatollah. I ain't messing this up.
Were you one of those Jews that like insisted the state of Israel shouldn't exist? So then the Ayatollah took you on for an interview or something. Is that
All I'm saying is
is
watch Iranian TV next week.
that
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be lit. The Ayatollah shows his tits. It's not a gay thing. It's a power thing. You made it a gay thing.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely
Power
still
couple?
on the side of Ayatollah Asahola. Not that Saudi Arabia is better for what that's worth, but I still think that Simpson shirt's great.
I mean, just the name.
that shirt is great.
Yeah, Netanyahu.
Ivan Netanyahu, indeed. All right,
Did
so
you hear that he like? Did you hear he like refused to leave the residence? Like the
Oh,
prime
yeah, I
minister's
did.
residence.
wait, what?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
super did.
he is squatting at the prime minister's residence right now.
Netanyahu?
Mhm.
Yeah, he refuses to leave.
Oh, cool. That's awesome that he's having a cat fight with another genocidal murderer. What a
That's
thing to
fair.
be catty about.
So relatable.
Yeah, I'm so glad that that's a thing. Like these people, that man is 71, right? That's how old Netanyahu is, and he's just acting like a
Mhm.
spoiled 15-year-old. That rules. Go for it, buddy. I'm back on your side. Go. Get in there. Just make yourself look like a complete dickhead. Keep going. Don't stop on my account, man. I'm back in team dipshit. Make life hell for the next guy. That way he doesn't have time to fucking shoot up the Palestinians to shore up his numbers.
Team Dipshit is the biggest team in the world.
I know. Well, Netanyahu's a dipshit. How about that team? That's small.
Yeah, that's very local, very sustainable.
But it's pro. See, it's the pro version of that team. It's not the one that's like Netanyahu's a dipshit. This is bad. It's the one that's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank God Netanyahu's a dipshit. Woo.
because that freaking rules. I kind of wish Trump had done that. Look, you can't transition into being the boss if I'm the boss. I'm here. I got the desk. I'm the boss. How hard is
God,
this to understand?
It would have been terrible for democracy, but really fascinating as an individual.
Oh, here's the thing. Don't worry about it being a democracy. That's over. Like here's the thing about that. The part that nobody wants to talk about is the fact that the sitting secondary executive purposely moved the military against the chief executive, and that shit about like they'll be like, no, but the Young Turks, they call them that because they're the military, but they go in and save democracy. It's not really a democracy. Stop pretending. Like that's over. That illusion was broken by Mike Pence, and it was wholly backed by the Liberal Party. Like democracy's done, which is exactly what the conservatives wanted. Because in our case, the liberals are weak. They're very weak and feckless.
Very,
Like
very weak.
very,
Terribly
very
weak.
weak and feckless. So like I'm sorry, like I hate to point that out, but like we're in a bad spot just by simply being post-Trump. That thing, that abomination of
Post
inhuman.
3, adjacent to whatever.
Yeah. Well, we are post, but we could be going into Trump 2, and then thanks to Mike Pence, he's now got everything he needed to justify being anti-democracy, and the libs will just my boss told me. My boss on the fifth floor of Goldman Sachs told me I should be a complete another pussy again.
Oof, I'm praying for them.
Yeah, I'm praying for something different for them. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, Meteor? I like Meteor.
I want to leave it open
Bar-
to interpretation so it's not a threat of violence.
Barbecue.
Yeah.
Legally, these are jokes.
Hey,
I
you
really
I'm
need
just
to put
saying,
that on like
I'm,
the
I'm
thing.
just saying, I'm just saying, if they were dinosaurs, the metaphor would, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Well, they're a vestigial organ.
Legally, I'm saying if they were dinosaurs, fuck them. They're dead. Fuck.
Well, they would be because dinosaurs are dead.
Extinct
Yeah.
is the word.
Right. Well, if you're going to use the French.
Les morts.
Pardon my French.
Dead and
Pardon my French. They're fucking dead.
Yeah.
They're freaking dead, eh?
That's fucking lame. Oh, shit. See, what we did is we teased people with power outages, and what do we do instead? We're talking about British people being pedophiles and problems with...
we could throw it in there real quick. Power
Yeah.
outages.
No.
Yeah.
I want to hear about the power outages. We do technically have an expert available to us.
Is there something new?
That,
Did they
you know
are
what
they
though?
fixing the issue somehow?
Don't misunderstand. We don't have an industry insider on the podcast so much as like to John the power grid is like a train set.
Yeah, we know. Was that not clear enough?
No, I want to make that very clear.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's like that. I've recently been playing through Mass Effect again,
Yeah.
and it's like that DLC in 2 where the guy's just like, "Oh, my brother is autistic. Mine can interface with the Geth." I'm like that, but with the power grid.
Yeah.
So that's by the way, has not aged well. Aged very
If they have the
poorly.
power grid, do they
That was a
have to?
direct quote, by the way, not me making it up or alluding.
No, that was I was a little bit shocked when I replayed through that part too because like I kind of forgot. I thought the dude was just like I didn't think it was like, look, Rain Man's such a retard that he can identify with a cat. Part of my hard R.
No, but like they really, that was the whole point of it. It was, yeah, a lot of that game is not aged well, which we can also talk about at some point. But
depending on
but
how
anyway,
quick you get through your power grid masturbation, we'll get there tonight.
I'll do.
Oh,
Okay,
I figured out the power grid problem.
What?
Just privatize it.
Ah!
more.
Why
thank
didn't we
God.
think of that? These
So-
Americans, if they had just given it to the private market, everything would be fine. We did that, sir. Well, then there's no problem with the power grid, idiot.
That's not how problems work, but whatever.
Oh,
not
I
a
see.
problem.
We've got ourselves a
isn't.
Jew in our midst. Oh, I'm
That
sorry.
was brilliant.
Hey,
Yeah.
you guys.
So the reason that
Can you guys hear me? Am I coming through?
Yeah.
yes,
Oh.
sir.
What are you guys doing, man? How's it going? You guys doing the power grid thing? You're not just hanging out saying slurs, talking about pedophiles, are you?
We
Yeah.
said some
We-
slurs for you to
Oh,
join
no,
us.
Never.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, listen,
Talk
my
about-
connection's not real good. I know you guys are doing the serious power grid episode. I just want. Does anybody know? Do you guys know how do you tell if a manatee has alcohol poisoning?
I
It's
assume
not
if it's
moving,
dead.
and if you gave it alcohol.
He boofed a lot of White Claws, man. It was his idea.
Was it his idea?
I helped a little.
A little.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, no,
you can't just
gave
boof
him the
on your
funnel.
own.
You just give him the funnel. It's fine.
Did you?
I mean, he was the coolest motherfucker on the beach. He got all kinds of pussy, but he's not looking at it right now.
I have a couple questions about this whole story because you're gonna have to. Well, I don't know how to say this. True, you're white. You have the white people's illness.
The DNR is really pissed off at me, you guys, and I'm just trying to find out if I need to take him to urgent care and if they're going to admit him because I don't know if they have health insurance.
If you say he's William Barr, they will admit him.
All
It's
right,
gonna
all
take
right,
too long
okay.
to figure it out.
Ooh, you lost some weight,
That
William.
officer, can you not see he's wearing fucking sunglasses? We took all the correct precautions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you got a
fucking
weekend at
know that.
Bernie's him.
If you sit behind him and kind of just say like Trump did nothing wrong, they'll be like, "Yes, Mr. Barr, you're looking so thin, Mr. Barr." I love your new
when they
mustache,
figure it
Mr.
out,
Barr.
when they figure it out, they're gonna be like, "Wait a minute, this blowhole's an inch lower."
So we checked Mr. Barr's medical records against Washington, and
We
It
used
turns
the
out Mr. Barr's
blowhole. We
flippers-
used the blowhole too. It was a double boofing. It
Ye-
was both holes. Man, he was for a second. He was having a lot.
the blowhole isn't a mouth; it's kind of an air hole. You kind of
Oh,
poured
shit,
alcohol in
okay.
his lungs.
Well, that explains that fucking sound he was making. I I gotta go, you guys. I just wanted to check in. I didn't very serious Power Grid episode.
Oh, fuck.
I think the Russians got him.
You guys are breaking up a little bit.
Wait, are you here to stay or do you gotta go?
It's I got these guys, man. They won't fucking man. Look, I fucking told you, all right. That Pelican was already here. He was here the whole fucking time. Okay, he was already dead. Okay, nobody did. He did. He put the ice in there in his mouth and put the White Claws in there and chilled them for us. He was doing it for us as a favor, officer.
It's always sunny on the Sons of Trier, man.
They adapted that in the environment naturally to chill beverages. It's why he has that. How are you in DNR, officer, and you don't know anything about nature? Okay, are you gonna help me get this fucking or not?
Tell him it was on the Flintstones. It must be true. That'll get you out of it.
He told me it was his. He said it's a living, and then we filled his beak with ice and White Claws, and then we shoved him into this manatee's ass. Have you ever been to the beach, asshole?
This is definitely how you should handle DNR Rangers, by the way.
Yeah, 100%. This
Yeah.
is the most healthy and effective way.
That's
Who
what
have
you-
guns for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm gonna fucking bribe this guy or do some bumps with him or something and get him in a party mood so that he can enjoy the scene that I've got going.
True.
Fucking it up with his cop bullshit. Okay,
True.
I'll let you guys.
I want to ask you because the last time we heard from you, you were in Qatar. Are you sure that's a DNR guy and not part of their army?
It's hard to tell. I mean, that easily could be sort of a Saudi get up. There's a lot of Saudi here. I feel like I'm at the beach. I'm at the beach in my mind, but it's entirely possible that they might have just made a bunch of slaves dig a big lake, you know, for the fucking Neom or whatever. It's entirely possible. So I can't confirm or deny whether I'm in the Middle East or coastal South Carolina.
Okay. Well, they are very similar.
Middle Carolina?
Yeah. It's similar climates, surprisingly, thanks to global warming.
Thank God. I was worried.
It's all on fire.
Yeah.
Well, listen, if you
Everything's
guys
on
are
fire.
still doing the power grid thing, motherfucker, that raccoon was here already too. What the fuck do you think? Hey, I'm sorry. If you guys are doing the power grid thing anyway, I just wanted to. Henry McMaster asked me to tell you that he's got a couple of nuke plants that he's going to palm off for real cheap if you want to get in on the ground level. Okay.
Okay.
The governor told you this?
Yes. Okay. He was here earlier today.
Uh-huh.
Him and this manatee, they were up to their necks in sniz. It was ridiculous. Okay. It was, you couldn't tell who was Henry McMaster and who was the manatee. You could only tell that they were literal gods of snatch. That was all.
Gods of Snatch.
It was going really, really well. He offered to sell me these fucking plants, but I don't have the capital to do this. Sounds like a great. Okay. I don't think they're that old. He said there were some maintenance issues, but I think we can handle it.
All right, let me go get the Jew gold.
Okay.
I told you guys
I'm
I'm
in.
tapping into that.
Henry, what the fuck do
Is that
you
the same
mean
as the
no
Nazi
Jew
gold?
gold? Look, Henry, this isn't a time to be fucking racist, okay? I'm broke the goddamn sale, okay, Henry? This isn't really fucking racist. Jew gold is good as any gold.
Wait,
Okay, do you need another barbecue plate? Does baby need another barbecue plate? I'm selling your plate. You guys, I gotta go. This is getting really.
Hey, good to hear from you. True.
Look, I'm
Glad we got the
gonna be
status
back. I'm
report.
gonna be back next week. Okay.
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 I gotta fucking take this manatee and fucking bury him some. I'm gonna take him to urgent care. I'm taking him to urgent care, officer. He's gonna be fine. Stop crying, you big fucking baby. God, this fucking asshole can't handle his fucking shrooms. I gotta go, you guys.
Shrooms. Oh, okay. All right.
It was
It
Well,
was
tense.
it was I apologize. I had to pull you guys about those issues. I'll let you guys get back to the very serious Power Grid episode. I didn't mean to bring this bullshit up. I gotta go. This connection is dog shit. But I'll see you guys next weekend.
yeah.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
We're also gonna have
That
to.
was it. That was interesting.
That happened. All right. We're gonna have to talk to him about his undercover assignments because he's not.
I mean, I approved him for another $3 million donation. I don't know what
Did
more
you
you
now?
want from me.
Did you now?
Well, you said to, didn't you?
No, I said the
There was
opposite.
an email that came forwarded from True from you that said, "This is definitely Dan. Give True another $3 million."
That was
Oh,
actually me. That was actually me. I'm a Russian asset. I hacked it.
you are a Russian
Damn it.
ass head.
I'm kind of a plant, you know, just like I got like leaves and shit.
I'll plant you using my dad language. Yeah. Okay. So, John,
Yep.
now that we're done with the misadventures of True, and for everybody's sake, please don't shove funnels into manatees. But we're breaking a lot of laws tonight. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about something that is legal and hideous?
Well, the thing that I was going to mention is that a lot of the time there's sort of like, because again, everything is like funneled through the lens of being a cultural war issue.
Yeah.
So even one of the things that like basically everybody agrees shouldn't be a culture war issue, which is the fucking power grid is,
Yeah.
because but the and of course the reality from our perspective is not that one side is good and one side is bad, but that it's all bad and that it's all shitty for different reasons. But
Yes.
when you hear about the two most egregious examples of where the power grid is just at all times under complete tension and just, how do I put this, in a very precarious state of the minimum amount of maintenance it takes to continue it running and be profitable.
Yeah.
There are no worse offenders than California and Texas.
Okay.
Both are terrible, but for different reasons.
One
and they
uses badgers on wheels, and the other one is perfectly flat, so you can't roll wheels of energy in.
Yeah, that's how energy is transferred.
Mhm.
Is that they sort of ball energy up into sort of a cheese wheel and wedge that they're able to deliver to everybody's home. And
Thank you.
actually, your electric meter at the back of your house is just a cheese wedge. That's
Yeah.
all it is,
Mhm.
actually. But yeah, that's exactly how that works.
Who can play at researching the power grid, my
Is that
friend?
like a fine? Is that like a Gouda or like a
No,
cheddar?
It depends on the region.
Yeah.
My back is a Swiss, but you guys are further east. It's probably some sort of what do they call it? No, Gouda. I think it's some sort of Gouda.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But
I
anyway.
stand informed.
No, more to the point.
Should have done your homework.
California has the same sort of problem that a lot of larger blue states have. Whereas Texas is like actually, even for a red state, is just uniquely terrible. California has the problem where there's only one company that provides power in California. And if you go online and you look up a map of co-ops or just a map of power providers by state, California is serviced almost exclusively by one provider, which is, I always screw it up, PE&G.
Yeah. Peg.
Yeah. Which is like, or PSE&G or something like that. The Pacific Gas and Electric and Gas.
Yeah. Just to let you know what they're doing to your asshole.
You need to fire them, those marketing people.
Yes. They didn't think that one through.
They are, and it's like this in New York with Con Ed. and it's like this in New Jersey with Con Ed as well. But
Con Air.
basically, no, Con Ed. That's the name of the power company. That's in Michigan.
Oh, I thought it was
Yeah.
about that Nick Cage movie.
No,
And
no,
these
not
are some
quite.
terrible names.
So,
Con Air.
just to cover it, this bit briefly, because this is true in a lot of places. Basically, they're one company that when they screw up, if they screw up enough, they can declare bankruptcy, and they always do like Chapter 11 or whatever, which means they never have to actually split up into smaller units. They never have to actually really face any consequences beyond the fact that the investors don't get payouts like that month or that year or whatever. And then the bankruptcy judges forgive their debt. And in
Oh,
California,
big surprise.
the last time that they did this, what they let you do is if you were personally harmed by the fact that there were tons of wildfires, which were their fault, to my knowledge. Again, all of this is allegedly, I don't know, in the game parody, etc. The fact that the idea that the wildfires were their fault, that they had roving blackouts that caused harm to people who needed medical equipment, and people had to relocate, etc. If you were damaged by any of that stuff, they allowed you to sue the power company yourself to recuperate some of the money.
Aw.
And of course, first of all, the only people who could do that, because they did not allow for a class action lawsuit in that case, the only people who did that were already people who had money, and they would get payouts from the company which had declared bankruptcy and then had that debt forgiven, which means that the public paid for it. So instead of the government doing payouts to people, more payouts to people who were directly damaged by it, they let people who were wealthier sue the power company and get extra payouts, essentially.
Aw, that's so thoughtful of them. What's the problem?
That's sort of the model that you're going to see, which is that, the term is run to ground or run to fail. They're just going to run their equipment to fail, let that shit fail, and then the government will bail them out. And the investors, they might take they might have to take off getting some payouts or whatever, but they're too big to be split up. They won't envision anything else. They won't let, for example, their employees buy them out. They won't do a forced buyout. They won't let the state take over, any of those things.
Wait, who's not letting the state take over? Because it seems like the state is the only one who can say.
The state. Newsom won't do that shit. Are you kidding?
What a...
Newsom, fuck no. The Newsom would never do anything like that.
I'm sorry. We said the state. We meant corporations.
Yeah, I want to make it very clear of who's not allowing that to happen, because that's a perfectly rational thing. If you're just going to fuck up the power grid over and over, you don't get to run the power grid no more. Simple as that. That's...
yeah,
I know that's a pie in the sky solution, but...
Yeah, that sounds like a bunch of bullshit.
And I mentioned this in group chat. You look at a state like South Carolina, which you would assume would not have a good system for doing this, and they actually have a pretty decent system for doing this, which is that like basically none of the power grid is run publicly. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they were underserved, and that to begin with, providing power to them probably was not profitable, which is why they had to form a bunch of co-ops and have the government do it. And they sort of have a legacy of that, which of course they're fucking up. But
awesome, always good news.
Yeah, but California, it's a different situation, and I think basically as you see more climatological damage that's done as a result of power companies, the companies will not face or bear any of the brunt of this problem, because hey, if they cease to exist, then what are you going to do with the existing equipment if there's no alternative to someone taking over? Because there really isn't at that point. If that company went bankrupt and there was no mechanism for the government to step in at that point, then that's it. There's no power grid anymore. And that's it. I mean, that's really, unless you have some sort of system where you can buy them out, that's just going to continue to be an issue. And the main thing that California has to do is they have to put all of their fucking power lines underground. That's the only actual solution to any of this shit. But that's a big endeavor, and that's not really something they're willing to do, it looks like, or that the federal government seems willing to actually step in and take care of.
Fantastic.
And to be clear about this, the reason all this shit matters ultimately anyway is that we're about to put like the entire transportation network on the grid. And we have no way of handling that. That's the fucking solution of the Green New Deal, and that's part of what the Green New Deal tries to address. And this is the other thing about the Green New Deal people don't fucking get. Well, there's two things. One, it's not law. It doesn't fucking exist. It's just a thing that haunts your nightmares, conservatives. It has nothing to do with fucking reality. It doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
There are some states which have done regulations, but that's not the same as the actual thing being leaked. It's not a thing. It doesn't exist.
It's
just
cute
a
that you
thing.
think conservatives are listening.
It's just a thing that sits in AOC's hard drive and scares you. That's all it is at this point.
That's all that matters, though. These people are wussies. They're
more to the point,
weak men. When they talk, you ever seen that weak men meme? They're talking about themselves. They're looking in a mirror and being like, "Oh my God, that's us." But they can't say it, so they have to project on that too. I mean, these are just the weakest little bitches you ever actually talk to them?
They cut themselves in the mirror.
Yeah, like the cuck is coming from inside the mirror. Oh no. Oh, that devil box. Like, these people are weak, man. There's no getting through to them because they're not invested in having something get through to them. They're not looking for a solution. They're looking to maintain the status quo. But the liberals, like, they can't keep the push and pull in the middle if there isn't somebody pulling away from the middle.
And the other thing about the Green New Deal I wanted to mention briefly is that the Green New Deal is just, we're allocating money for this. These are our goals. But it has nothing to do with like how they're actually going to accomplish any of this stuff. And one of the largest challenges of the Green New Deal is they're just like, all the cars that you see on the road will get their power from your fucking outlets in your homes, which that's going to be a giant undertaking, because it's not quite doubling the demand on the grid, but it's close. And yeah, we're going to have to fucking address that at some point. And the fact of the matter is that a lot of addressing that probably isn't going to be profitable. And if you have a bunch of companies getting in the way saying, hey, we got to fucking wet our beaks if we're going to do any of this stuff, then it's just going to cost even more of our goddamn money to even do that.
Yeah.
So that's ultimately what is so fucking frustrating about that situation. But to dunk on Texas for a moment, since they do deserve it.
All right. Let's go. First off, your entire state smells like shit.
Second off, you're not even the fucking largest state in the union, you pieces of shit.
Yeah, everything.
Go fucking pick a fight with Alaska and tell me who's bigger.
Yeah, everything's bigger in Texas, even the amount of bullshit you fucking assholes spew.
Yeah.
Everything's bigger except their dick.
Oh, yeah.
Things that are bigger than Texas.
Oh.
Fucking egotist fucking bastards. Oh, sorry. Were we
sorry,
dunking on them for something specific?
I'm sorry, are you guys just Mexico? I feel like you're just a part of Mexico.
Oh, yeah. I gotta take shit from a former Spanish colony. Look at you, you know what? Looking at you too, Louisiana. Settle down. Nobody wants to hear from you either. Florida,
we cool.
More like more like Florida. Fuck off.
You're just a shit port. That's all you're good for.
You're America's dick. You fucking drain.
Port and weird shit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, if we got rid of Florida, are we gonna lose out on white Cuban exiles who are all pissed off that Castro took their slaves? Oh no. However, will we fucking do? Oh, boo-hoo. Society is so change for the better. Oh, that would be terrible.
Texas still isn't gonna fix their power grid either.
Your senator couldn't fight a fucking paper bag. Okay,
the same shit's gonna happen.
Couldn't fight. And your fail son senator, Beto O'Rourke, I'm sorry, the 90s called. They don't want him back. They said we can have him.
Why do all Cuban exiles have a picture of Jefferson Davis on their wall with Joker makeup that says we live in a society? Well, why is that on every Cuban exile's wall? I don't understand that.
Yeah, if that's state issue, fuck that.
So the reason I was going to dunk on Texas is that, generally speaking, if you live in the West, WAPA runs your transmission line. If you live in the East, the Tennessee Valley Authority runs your transmission line. Nice. Transmission line is the shit that goes from the power plants to your local substation.
Into your ass.
Everything that goes out of the substation tends to be your local distributor.
Yeah.
And that's how it works basically everywhere. There's two Department of Energy agency, organizations that run the transmission line. There's a lot of reasons that it has to be run by them, not least of which is that if the power plants say, if it was privatized, the power plants could say we want to push out at this rate, and that could create a lot of problems. But basically, the reason that you want it run by the federal government is they run the frequency at which power is pushed out onto the power grid. And if the frequencies don't match, then equipment explodes like everywhere. It's really bad.
Okay.
That is all true, except for Texas. Texas is run by the ERCOT, which is a state agency. And they're terrible, mostly because what that ends up meaning is that except for a very specific part of the panhandle in the eastern part of the panhandle of Texas, and then the furthest west part of Texas that is on the border with New Mexico, not Mexico, but New Mexico.
Okay.
The rest, so very small, less than even 5% of the state lives in that area. The rest of Texas can only receive power from within Texas. That's really bad. There are a lot of, that's really not good for a lot of reasons. Not least of which is there is a reason that there are a lot of states that produce more power than they consume. It just fucking has to do with geography. That's how it's going to work. You're not going to, it would be ideal if every state produced the amount of power.
Texas failed geography.
Yeah, I won't go into too much technicals here, but that's a bad system for a lot of reasons. Not least of which is that if your equipment breaks, you can't, at one generating station where the weather is really bad, you can't have another generating station north of you push energy to you. And they like it that way because, they basically assert that their stuff's more on the free market, and that, and of course, it's all the downsides, and it's all the downsides of, how do I put this? A protectionist system. It's all the downsides of a free market with none of the upsides of a free market.
Tight.
Because they can't actually trade energy on the free market since all of it comes from within the state. But, they get to fucking wave their dicks around about the idea that they're independent from the rest of the grid. As if that's something you want to be fucking independent from. Which makes no sense.
That sounds like what Texas would do. They'd have all of the downside and none of the fucking benefits.
Well, you remember how I was talking about perfect monopolies and everybody looked like I was insane? Look at Texas.
And they would undercut the entire area to do so.
Yeah. Well, they undercut the whole goddamn country with their fucking bullshit. Worthless state.
Well, yeah, we basically pay for that fact.
Yeah.
The other thing is that they have these disasters, and then we pay for it with FEMA aid. And the reason that Texans got here's where the free market stuff really enters the hyper bullshit. Okay.
Oh boy.
So
strapping in.
The reason that all those Texans got $10,000 energy bills for running their heat when it was freezing outside for 15 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
Is without, now this is where the market stuff enters and where I think Dan will shine. But basically, the way things work is your local power distributor buys energy in bulk from generating stations, from power plants.
Yeah.
And without getting into too much detail, just imagine that it gets delivered to you like a package and that it doesn't have anything to do with the transmission line. That's other complicated stuff. But basically, you have many options for who you buy your power from, and you put together a portfolio of how many megawatts you're going to consume, and then you buy out from these companies the amount of megawatts that you need, and it gets delivered to you. Okay, so the way it works in Texas, and this is the only fucking state where you can do it, is your distributor can, for a fee, let you use an app where you buy directly, quote unquote, from the transmission people, from the generating stations, bulk prices.
Okay.
And the idea is supposed to be, if the bulk prices go down, you get essentially Sam's Club prices on electricity. And of course, your distributor charges you a fee for that. And then it's supposed to save you money ultimately because, maybe your electric bill will be $50 cheaper and all you did was pay your distributor $5 or whatever. Here's the problem. When you buy from a distributor, you have a lot of protections. And you have protections for how much you're going to, what's the maximum amount you're going to pay for, a month of electricity. They do that so that they do their best to not, have people behind, and they don't want to shut off your power a lot of the time. There's a lot of protections against that. But if you buy in bulk from a generating station, then you don't have any of those protections, and they can charge you as much as they want. So
they have a perfect monopoly?
Yeah, in many ways. Because here's the other thing. The best analogy for this is, let's say you went to your grocery store and your grocery store was like, hey, for $5 a month, we'll give you a card and that'll let you go to the bulk warehouse and buy from them. But then that means you can't buy from us anymore. And for months you go to the distributor, or excuse me, the bulk warehouse or whatever, and the prices are great. And then one day they're like, yeah, our prices are like 1,000% now up. And you don't have a choice. You have to buy from them. That's basically what happened in Texas.
Yeah, because you need the food.
Yeah, because you have a fucking monopoly.
Yeah, that's kind of what it comes down to. I mean, the fact of the matter is that, like, right up there with like water and shelter is power. I mean, you could kind of argue power, like the only like fucking nut jobs would tell you power is, and what I mean by electricity specifically, only nut jobs would tell you electricity is luxury. No one actually thinks that.
Right.
No sane person, not even Ben Shapiro would tell you that it's not a luxury.
No, but he would also tell you Texas's grid is good.
And
yeah, he would.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness to Ben
What a
Shapiro,
throwback
he
on that
only
one.
thinks that power is not a luxury because he needs it to run his model trains. So
Yes.
He's got his conductor hat on. He's like, goes to switch it on. Oh,
this is a need. This is at the bottom of my Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
fucking communist.
This is the need upon which all other needs are built.
Damn it.
Damn. Yeah, that's
This
it.
is
And then it goes
socialism.
immediately into those goddamn communists.
Yeah. Yep, that was our fault. We set up the capitalist monopoly. That's us. That's what we do. That's what we're most famous for when it relates to capitalism. God damn. Oh boy. Okay. So, please continue. I can't wait to hear how else
do we fix
basically
it?
Though the main thing, of course, is now that we've reached summer, Texas is telling people, hey, could you please not turn your thermostats below 80 degrees because we can't fucking handle how much demand there is on the grid because it's hotter than it's ever been. And that's the other thing too about how this shit without, again, I'll try my best not to get into too much detail here, but basically generating stations don't ever want to generate too much power. And because if they generate too much power, they're basically out the money for the fact that they generated that power. And the demand of the grid is met like almost instantaneously to when power is generated. It's within seconds. You receive power from even states away within seconds because that's how fast electricity is.
Sure.
And because the easiest way to imagine Texas's grid is that functionally Texas is an island in the middle of the Pacific that has to generate all of its power itself. And even though that doesn't have to be true. What'd you say?
It's doing good then. They've cut themselves off from the rest of society and created a perfect monopoly market to satisfy the whims of dickheads.
So you look at with Texas, you look at the fact that, like, all right, their shit wasn't winterized, right? And that destroyed a lot of equipment. That meant that a lot of the generating stations couldn't like generate power. they would tell you that's a fluke. This summer, record heat. And if you look at if you're a generator and you look at the record of, the last 50 years of how much demand Texas had for air conditioning, you would predict incorrectly the amount of demand it would put on your grid. And if all of a sudden there's more demand in Texas than its own grid can provide, here's the thing that happens. If you demand more from your substation than it can generate, you will blow up your substation. Now, most companies, in fact, basically all of them, by the time your substation reaches like 95% capacity for electricity going through it, they shut it off anyway.
From everywhere, right?
Yeah, because they're just shutting everyone down, because it is true factually that it's just better to do that than it is to let all the equipment blow up, because that's what would happen if it ever ran above capacity at that point. So now Texas, in many places, many people's local substations are getting very dangerously close to going over that limit, and they're asking everybody, well, turn your ACs up and don't do laundry.
Oh,
that's freedom. Hey, baby, that's fucking freedom.
That
right?
is fucking freedom. It is
You
my
mean- you
listen.
mean
It
the
is my
same
right as a
people-
fucking American to blow up my power substation if I
You
want
mean-
to. God
You
damn
mean
it!
they want the people who are so greedy that they completely gutted their own electrical grid to not be greedy for 2 seconds?
well, I doubt the people of Texas actually actively were like, it'd be a really good idea. What if we just put a monopoly in place that charges us way too much and fucks up all?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know their lives. Maybe.
Okay, I have to presume that wasn't the plan.
And you see, this is one of these things where, like, just because there's a bunch of co-ops in Texas that provide power to people, like, there's only so much they can do themselves, because they don't actually have control over the fact that they can't get electricity from other states. That's entirely like a political decision by the state of Texas.
Yeah,
That has nothing to do with
one. I can go all
that's
day.
one
on
way
this,
to
by the way.
characterize it.
Yeah, it's the right way to characterize it. Let's be, we strive to be very honest on this podcast. Let's not devolve into accusations of utter stupidity when somebody's doing something right, which is completely trashing their own fucking power grid. Oh my god. Oh dear god, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm so glad that my tax dollars have to pay for that.
Yeah,
know, right?
ultimately you do. Ultimately,
But I'm
everybody
wrong when I
listening.
say let them drown. I don't.
Well, we can't do that. We can't
well,
resort to eco-fascism to solve this
You're
problem.
supposed to laugh when your enemies get what's theirs.
Okay, the randos in Texas aren't our enemies. It's clearly the fucking power station and the
I
power
mean, you voted
generators.
for
It's
the
ERCOT.
okay.
ERCOT is the name of the fucking the non-federal how do I put it, the non-federal, like, power distributor,
Yeah.
or whatever, or not distributor, transmission authority, if you want to put it that way.
The dipshits. Is how
Yeah.
I would characterize it.
Classical name. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh look, the Republican Party has fucked something else up beyond repair. Oh no. Whoever could have predicted that letting Republicans do things would fuck things up? It's almost like that's never happened before.
It's almost as if it's the party's primary policy. Let's fuck shit up, and if we
Yeah.
fuck it up just the right amount, it'll look like it's the Democrats' fault when they get elected.
You know what the nice thing is though? This isn't like when people are like the problem is deregulation. This was absolutely regulated into power. This is by regulation. That's the when people are like the mantra is like we just need to regulate capitalism. This is it regulated. That has nothing to do with it because the problem.
Yeah, regulated by people who were mentally deficient.
They're not mentally deficient. Again,
Yes, they are.
No, they're not. That was a perfectly rational decision if your goal was to manufacture a monopoly. That was the
If your goal was to be fucking stupid. Yeah, it was a
Oh, yeah.
perfectly rational decision.
The problem is I'm not. Again, I'm not calling those
There's
people
that.
stupid. This isn't a merit
There's
problem. This is
there's that ethical capitalism.
yeah. There's that ethical capitalism myth. There is no ethical capitalism. That's the purpose in this case. A bunch of Texas oil barons, I guarantee it was oil barons, were like, "Hey,
Oh hell yeah!
how can we make a multi-million command market? Oh, we'll just remove Texas from the federal power grid. That
And we'll
way,
tell
Yeah.
them they're being independent. Texans
And of
love
course,
independence.
the thing that's like the dumbest about that entire prospect is that like they were like, oh, we're going to do this for freedom or whatever, and then basically just ensured that they did that as like basically a protection ring, because
Yeah.
of course if they're the only power providers or whatever, then they can charge whatever they fucking feel like.
Yep.
So they have, like Dan said, they have essentially a monopoly.
Not essentially. That is a monopoly. I mean, if there's only one place in town where you can get power from, in this case, one place in the state you're allowed to get power from, and isn't it the problem that their frequency is different? So if you tap in, you just destroy the entire state.
Yeah, so basically
Yeah.
what ends up happening is if they ever attempted to tap into line from WAPA or line from the TVA, like it would just fucking melt the whatever tap-in point that it happened at, and then you'd waste tons of electricity that way. And what's important to understand here is that technically ERCOT is a state agency, and the individual generation plants are some of them are owned by various companies. Now, of course, not many companies own the various places that can generate power in Texas, but they basically have a honeypot that is enforced by the Texas state legislature, where it's, first of all, one of the things that you don't hear about, generally speaking, are new power companies. That's not a fucking thing you hear about nowadays. No one's going to come in there and try to fucking edge them out. That's not going to happen. So
The
that's not a
market
thing
will
that
regulate itself.
those companies get to charge
So
within their
efficient.
region whatever they feel like. And they have, because Texas is a state where energy extraction and generation is a huge business, most of the extraction industry just simply owns the generation plants that are in Texas.
Awesome. There's no way that
they have obviously, I mean, look at the fucking shining example of a Democrat from Texas is Beto O'Rourke, completely captured by natural gas companies in Texas. Absolutely unwilling to do anything in terms of that was the only thing that he was moderate about. That was one of the things that he was moderate about, and that's one of the reasons I think that he tripled down on taking guns and religion from people, because that was his whole thing. His whole shtick was, I'm going to take your guns, and I don't know, I think he was super anti-circumcision.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's just say he was super anti-circumcision. Anyway,
not a fan of the Jews.
He had to double down on something, because otherwise on climate, he was to the right of even fucking Pelosi.
Yes.
So, the fact of the matter is that the legislature there, all the politicians that come from there are completely captured by the power generation lobby, essentially, in Texas. And it is very similar to, despite the fact that it is widely unpopular that Texas would go about doing things this way to people in Texas, it's very similar to California, in that California has that ridiculous fucking constitutional amendment that's if you owned your home before 1972, you don't have to pay taxes beyond that. Which
to protect the
draconian
pedophiles.
for any state.
Yeah, to protect the Hollywood pedophiles, right?
Yeah, who was it? It was what was the guy's name? I think it was Bob Hope. He was that guy who fucking loved golf. One second.
Oh,
that guy.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was one of the people who actually went to what's the name of their capital? I'm forgetting it now.
Sacramento.
Yeah, he went to Sacramento and lobbied the California legislature and was for the sake of golf courses, you should really make it so that people don't have to pay property taxes beyond 1972. And that really is actually what happened and was part of how they passed that as a constitutional amendment in the state of California. So, the fact of the matter is that California and Texas are two sides of the same coin when it comes to this kind of shit. And they're both guilty of just some of the most abhorrent policies in the United States, despite the fact that they're supposed to be shining examples of red and blue states, respectively.
Yeah. Well, you want me to do it? You want me to do why they're the shining examples?
Please.
It's precisely because of the situations you would call a flaw. That is what the Democrats can offer you. They can offer you unmitigated regulation in that kind of regard. What can the Republicans offer you? Same service. The regulation will be in your favor. So it will be damaging to anybody who's not you. Fortunately, last time I checked, you're you, rich person. Good news. Your ass is paid.
They did not, in fact, get your asses.
That is the specific mechanisms by which they do it. They're literally offering their own unique branding. That's it. That's what it boils down to. How
Yeah.
they would each go about doing it. Otherwise, it is the exact same service. We will support monopoly capitalism in power generation. But in one of those cases, we'll just literally fucking manufacture a monopoly. And in the other, we will make it look like the market has manufactured. We will, how does it, PEG is what? Will essentially allow the market to manufacture a monopoly and then enshrine it in law.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
essentially what happened.
Yeah, that's the difference. That's the difference between the political parties. That's what you're voting on, people. That's what voting does. There's your options. Do you want a straight
So
up
many options.
monopoly, or do you want your monopoly to be enshrined by law posthumously? How do you want monopoly fucking consumptive capitalism? How do you
My
like it?
team is best. But my team is best.
Yes. Again, liberalism is as much a disease as conservatism, and conservatism has the frankly the pleasantry of being an open boil versus something that festers inside of you until it just is like, surprise, here's your cancer. Yeah, that's the difference.
Open, transparent cancer.
Oh no, it's more like a series of. It's like leprosy.
Like an open legion. Yeah, leprosy is a good.
It's just out there. It flaunts itself, and cancer's sneaky. It waits. It waits until it's too late, and then you're like, oh shit, I have cancer. But maybe you can manage it.
Technically more manageable.
Technically, actually, you can cure leprosy the old-fashioned way. A lot of medication. Don't read too much into that. Eat knows what kind of medication we need, and I'm not going to say anything further.
I'm
Excuse
just
me.
gonna leave it today. It's not worth getting into.
Good old leeches.
Yeah, something like that. One of those leeches that comes down with a very sharp blade.
It's got sharp teeth.
Yeah, sharp teeth. Yeah, like that. Let's get more abstract with it.
We could do that too.
All I know is next week I want to do theory work. That's what I know. I want to get weird with it. I want to make it the driest episode ever and just be like, all right, let's re-theorize. We're gonna reteach ourselves what power is. Plus, that'll give me a week.
Yeah,
to
you
think
got
about it.
so excited when I said we should do power this week.
Yes. I was like, all right, he wants to go deep ass theory. Let's go. No.
Power grids. Shit.
Fuckles.
Got excited.
Yeah.
Like, my time to shine.
Yes, that's more what it was. It was like, oh, this isn't my field of expertise. Although describing the problems of capitalism, I can always do. Yeah, it's at some point.
Yeah, it's sort of just like
shit.
On some level, when God, I can't believe I'm going to be fucking even saying anything that remotely seems to agree with her. But on some level, I understand the general idea that MTG is getting at when she talks about like corporate communism.
Sure.
Like I understand that that's like supposed to be an oxymoron, but like they can't fucking express any of their thoughts beyond like
Words from the
communism
50s.
bad.
Yeah.
They can't like
I
fucking
mean, it's accurate if you completely don't understand what
formation.
the fucking word is in the first place.
Yeah, if you
Right.
if you limit your
It's
definition to
accurate if
communism.
you disregard the fact that she's being completely disingenuous and maybe not even disingenuous, literally just not understanding anything in front of her.
Yeah. I mean, what it boils down to is like the way they read it is like China, which is state-backed capitalist monopolies that compete on the open market, and like to them that's communism because they literally like they're so young and piss poorly read about the subject. Like they wouldn't know if you describe actual communism. Some of these people they're like that sounds great, and you're like that's communism. They're like what the fuck? No, it isn't. Like
No, it sounds good.
yeah, wait,
What? No one was murdered.
yeah,
I'm
I'm not
confused.
gay. I'm not gay. There's no way
Wait,
that's
okay,
right.
just a few people were murdered.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
no.
to them somehow like
Not in the parts that were positive.
yeah. I mean, these are people who think within a fixed time frame of like 1919 to 1970, the death toll of communism is still rising. Like they have a very fluid idea of history in this case. Laudable, but last week you said it was 150 billion, now it's 160 trillion. What other fucking made up number are you going to throw at it? You know?
And you know what I would say is that I think in many ways, despite the fact that that on both sides they can't talk about this, but in many ways, ERCOT and PE&G, they are the thing that MTG describes. She just can't fucking use words beyond
Yeah.
she can't use words beyond corporate capitalism, and someone like Elizabeth Warren can't use words beyond crony capitalism.
Right.
When really the idea that like you can use the state as a proxy for you can use the state as a proxy or a hammer to enforce and re-solidify, reify your position in the market and just in society, that is capitalism. Because we discussed with the complete monopoly versus capitalism. Capitalism is just as much defined by the fact that there is a state. There has to be, and of course, the state can exist along a continuum. It can exist in many iterations, but the fact that it exists is part of what legitimizes your place. That doesn't mean that you can't use the state as a cudgel. And in both cases, the state is being used as a cudgel. However, in one case, I wouldn't say, especially because it's electricity. Neither case are they like pinkwashed in California. They might be like fucking freedom, red, white, and blue washed in Texas or whatever. But in California, it just the idea that they could nationalize it, that's not even fucking on the table. That's something basically they would tell you Washington has to do, and DC's never going to do it. That's what they would tell you at that point. Even though there are a lot of things, if they fucking felt like it, that they could do, but they choose not to. And I'll say this much: it's not in terms of stuff that could have been done about this. One particular vice president that might be in power right now probably had some ability to go after these companies and actually fucking enforce consequences for the fact that this shit happened.
What?
But
it would have to be somebody who was an attorney general, no?
Yeah, it would have to be somebody who did that stuff.
No.
But they didn't pursue any of it. At least not seriously in any regard, because the fact of the matter is that people died as a result of this stuff, and it was PE&G's policy to run to fail their equipment, and that's what fucking happened. That's what fucking happened to to cause some of these wildfires. People died.
I got an idea.
Thousands of people were displaced because of that shit.
I got an idea. Privatize it.
Oh, privatize. Why didn't we think of that? Jesus. That'd make it so much easier.
Get some of that prison labor in.
Yeah, I think that's what they did though, didn't they?
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, they had them people working as firefighters for $1 an hour. That's slavery.
Well,
That's,
they yeah. Well, they got in trouble and they stopped it.
For what it's worth,
did he just cut out?
well, the thing that's funny about that is like, they basically said, they basically had all these prisoners fight the fires and then not let them become firefighters. And like the only regulation, the only like thing that they did to alleviate the situation with wildfires, to like regulate at all, or in this case, not even regulate. Yeah, so the only thing that they fucking did in the situation was make it so that people who are out of prison can participate in the market better.
Nice.
That's it.
Nice.
Market-based
I
solutions.
I just want to point out one last thing. We've all heard that myth that like, oh, government can't do anything because it's too hard to change the laws. It's really not, because like the thing is, the way in a democracy laws would change is once you've identified the law that's causing the problem, you would strike it from the record, you would rewrite it, and that's what your legislative body would do. When liberals, especially liberals, purport that, right? That tells you pretty much everything you need to know about them, that they don't want to do anything because it's actually quite easy. If the will of the people is in your favor, then you just do it and they're happy with you.
Hey, sorry about that.
Yeah. But if you don't want to do anything, suddenly it's too hard to govern. It's too hard. It's impossible to change laws. That's why we just tack on new laws. That's the best we could ever do, is tack on a new law. Because it's too hard to change what's on the books. We would have to decide to change what's on the books, and that's a decision we can't make. And we're not listening to the voters who wanted it to change.
Have you considered sticking your dick in it?
Yeah. You try just fucking the Constitution. Well, no, that's
That'll
like
solve all your problems.
that's really honestly it. And like even with the Constitution, like if you have a federal body that has the power to legislate, wants to rewrite the Constitution, you can just do that. Like, you can. You're allowed. That's what your job is. But if you just don't want
Oh,
to
come
do
on now.
that,
You know their job is selling out hard.
well,
Don't make this complicated.
I always kind of hate the phrase selling out because there's always more of them to fucking sell. Selling out implies at some point the sale ends. There's nothing left. There's
Oh, you can sell indefinitely.
Yeah, but then you're not selling out though. You're just selling.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't.
it wouldn't be an hour. It would just be it'd be the short sell, right?
Yeah, kind of. I just I've been having a lot of beef with liberalism lately, and yeah, I have a fair bit of problems with that whole construction.
Deep throat that boot.
You deep throat that boot. That's exactly right. Fuck. Yeah, so I don't know. I think we're good for tonight. I think we did what, about an hour and a half?
Just about, yeah.
Just about. All right,
Ugh.
everybody. What?
Ugh.
You're not looking
Yeah,
forward.
he went on that power grid stuff. I don't blame him.
Uh,
Woof.
it's heavy stuff.
It is. It's
So
important though. It
gross.
is. It is genuinely important.
Yeah. That's why we got to do it. But I swear to God, next week we're doing power. We're going full theory. Will
I
to
can't
power.
wait to derail that conversation.
Yeah, please try not to, because we got to actually.
Are we
crack
still on
it
air?
open. Yeah, we're still on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just
Okay.
and just to preface that one, what the fuck's with the anarchists, bro?
Oh, jeez, it's starting off early.
No. We'll stop. This is the end of the show. We'll hold that for next week.
Yeah, let them stew on that for a while. See how they like us.
Start pissing off all the lefties.
Yeah, well, we're about to, because I my first thesis on power is that the left is scared of it.
Oh yeah, well that's for
Okay.
sure. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, But now we need to identify the monster in their closet, if you will. We need to identify the thing they're scared of. What actually is that?
That they're
And
scared of?
yeah, what is the thing? If they're scared of power, what I agree, but what the fuck is power?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You
You're
know,
going through the actual theory. Okay, yeah. I gotcha.
that's what
I
I'm talking
gotcha.
about. I mean, I'm not talking about like a snazzy fucking intro to some
Not going,
bullshit about
not
like,
going little theory. You're going like full theory. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. That's
we're going to the root of the fucking problem here, buddy.
balls deep in the theory.
Yeah, metaphysics. My fucking soup du jour. That's where I want to get to. What is existence? What is power? Part of existence is
Well,
power.
if you're gonna do that, you got to do it sounding like Noam Chomsky the whole time.
It's uh well
So nobody can hear you when they're
uh
all falling asleep.
uh uh I could
Like, God
try.
damn it. I'm at work here. I can't hear you on my
I
headphones, bro. Like, what are you doing?
I suspect Chomsky and I would disagree on what power is, and at some point it's going to come down to this like really arbitrary linguistic difference that like I honestly don't see the relevance in exploring. Like,
I mean, he is a linguist, so he probably would argue that point with you forever.
yeah, he would probably get down into a weird rabbit hole.
Not just
That's
walk in the room. Bitch, he's making you do what you don't want to do.
I don't even everybody else hates Chomsky. Like I just take Chomsky for what Chomsky is, and like then he's not hateable. Like yeah, Chomsky's and
Yeah, I mean,
We need to
you're gonna
before
have
he
gripes with everybody.
because he's so old, we need to like at some point in our tenure as a podcast, we need to email him like one question because he notoriously responds to every single email he gets.
really,
So yeah,
What?
that's you can look it up. All he fucking does, like he teaches like 1 or 2 classes a year and just reads his email and responds to it all day. His fucking you guys know Hassan Abi?
yeah,
Yeah,
Holy shit.
his Discord server uh emailed as a server Noam Chomsky and asked Noam Chomsky his thoughts on how best to democratically organize a fucking discourse server on Discord. And he responded.
oh Jesus,
So he responds to
Holy
yeah,
shit.
yeah. He responds to every email he gets.
We might have to have a Christmas special on this one.
Oh boy.
we might be emailing him weekly. I mean,
No, he probably takes a long. We have to like if we're gonna send him something in preparation for a if we have to send him something in preparation for a special, we have to like think of the question long out because it's probably going to take him a long time to respond. But it would be very funny to do and appropriate, I think.
I think he was just asking.
Is this email just publicly available? Is that just the thing?
I think you can look it up. I'm pretty sure.
Holy shit. Holy. Yo, I think we have a whole new format.
Here we go.
Thanks, Dr. Chomsky.
This
gonna-
week on Ask Chomsky.
Yeah. That's it. Show's over as it was. Now we're just Ask Chomsky the podcast.
So yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. What are you gonna ask
Well, that
the elf man?
we could just ask him what he thinks power is. I mean, that would make a good question, but I don't know. We could ask him anything about his life too. That's probably pretty interesting, but that's probably not something we'd ask.
That's not really on our brand.
No.
I kind of want to just ask him to be like, no, really, but communism, right? See what he does. Troll the
You gotta
old
phrase
man.
it. You gotta phrase it nicer, but yeah, you could do that.
No, that's how I'd phrase it. Come on, liberalism, anarchism. Eh.
I mean, I'm sure he gets trolled emails, so he's probably
I
not gonna
think
try
like
to
one of
speak
his
that.
kids or probably grandkids like filters out like insults or whatever and tries to keep it to like normal stuff or whatever. But I mean, listen, if fucking Hassan's Discord server emailed him and he responded 100% in earnest, he will probably respond to us as long as we don't like go on some sort of tirade or whatever.
Well, why would we go on a tirade? We're not the random leftos.
No.
We're not the.
We would
Japanese.
ask him something very fair, I'm sure.
Yeah. Look, the fact of the matter is this: All right, I get to use your phrase. I'm so happy. We're not jacking any fucking randos who just throw fits about everything and spend their time declaring fucking Cheetos problematic because the cheetah is allowed to fucking walk around nude and women aren't. Therefore, the cheetah is flagrantly sexist against women. Right? We don't have disingenuous, dumb bullshit coming out of our mouths. Our questions are entirely fucking valid.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. So, and you know what? If you read this and you're like, how dare he? And you want to cancel me, just you want to send an email to whitehouse.gov, admin at whitehouse.gov. It's right on there. And you want to subject that line, I am making a direct threat of violence against President Joseph R. Biden. And then you want to detail what your problem is, and they will send somebody down to handle you.
You are being handled.
Yeah, you will
Thank you for
be.
your cooperation.
Your problems with us will be addressed. I kind of hope we get an email that's like cease and desist from the federal government. Like stop telling people to do that.
You know, we will have to legally stop at that point, but boy, will it be worth it.
Yeah, that would rule.
I mean, and then the next week it'd be okay, Dix. We saw you change your email address and just create another page.
Just
You're
fucking
not slick.
just send it to whitehouse.com. The porn site. Send you direct threats of violence. Yeah, by the way, we're still on air. I'm dragging ass.
Oh, that's fine. I don't.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was privately testing something in the background to see if I can multitask. Mission successful.
He was just joking.
So now we gotta do a business talk after this. It'll be brief.
Oh, there's more.
But jokes.
Oh, shut up. It'll be fine.
But jokes.
I'm prepared for my HR meeting.
He replied in 9 minutes. Holy shit. He replied in 9 minutes.
9 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I don't think
Here
he
we
does
go.
anything else all day, which is kind of amazing, but good for him.
Well, yeah, he's tenured. You don't gotta do shit.
That also means our boy Chet Moret that's an old drop. Hey, we got Twitter comments too. Nice.
Do we?
Yeah, I didn't read them. I love you all. Didn't read them.
Night America.
Hey.
We're not Chomsky.
Yeah, we're not Chomsky. I'll respond to that someday. Yeah, I won't. I'm sorry. All right, love you guys. Have a good night. We got to talk podcast.